Honorable Men Discord. Ebro got fired from Hot 97. Let's talk about it.
How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new. I would never cower.
As always, welcome back to another episode. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And by all means, I'll see you in the comment section if you have an opinion about this episode. So let me just get straight into this. Ebro, if you're not aware of who Ebro is, I want to say he's the program director for Hot 97, meaning he oversees the playlists and the other intricacies of running a daytime radio show. Now, before I even get into Ebro, I'm going to say this. I've stopped listening to Hot 97 a long time ago. I just did. And part of that reason is because I wasn't a fan of Peter Rosenberg, and I definitely wasn't a fan of Ebro. Now, do I enjoy hearing someone got fired from a job? No, especially in Ebro's case where he did 13 years of service for the radio station. And especially in December during the holidays. Now, regardless if he celebrates the holidays, I don't know what he believes in. Regardless if he celebrates the holidays, that's irrelevant. It's just one of those things where it's like, of all times, not that there's ever a good time to get fired, but I don't wish bad on anyone. But I'll be honest with you, again, I stopped listening to Hot 97 because of Peter Rosenberg and Ebro. Laura Stiles, she's not in that conversation because she's relatively new. At least she's the newer person. Rosenberg and Ebro have been doing that. They have been working that radio station for some time. But Peter Rosenberg, I just didn't think he was that amusing. And Ebro, his ego and his personal beliefs in it just started to spill out on camera and over the radio, and it personally annoyed me because you can tell when someone's getting bigger than the brand, or at least in their head they're becoming bigger than the brand. And this is my opinion. I stand on this alone. I don't expect anyone to agree with me, but I can hear it over the airway. For me, a radio station, I want to hear a little commentary, some trending topics, current events. And I want you to go back to the music. I want to hear personality. I want you to somewhat be charismatic and funny, entertaining. That's what I want to hear as a listener when it comes to radio. But Ebro, when I would hear him, it just sounds like somewhat obnoxious in the way that he thinks. And again, this is my take on it. This is why I just moved over to 105, and I've been listening to 105 here and there. I don't even listen to radio like that, period, but I stopped listening to Hot 97 a long time ago. The only person that I was interested in listening to was Funkmaster Flex. But outside of that, I haven't kept up with Hot 97 in a very long time. But if you're unfamiliar with Ebro and this situation with him being fired, let's take a listen and a look at this video of him somewhat discussing his termination.
And then they tried, when the Trumpster got in office. Listen, man, I don't capitulate well, bro. Been doing this too long. If you look around all the major media outlets, man. All of them. Look at all of them. They all got to fold up because they all trying to renew their deals, their licenses. They all, in this particular situation, we'll get into more specifics another time. Bro's a casino owner. Those 3 licenses that they got here in New York City for the casinos? The guy that owns one of the casinos licenses. He got to raise $500,000, bro. $500 million, excuse me. They need my talking anti-Netanyahu anti-government, progressive out the way, bro.
So that was Ebro vaguely discussing his termination. And this is what I want to be the takeaway from this episode. Not the fact that he got terminated and to celebrate him being terminated. Just because I'm not a fan of what he presents over the radio doesn't mean I enjoy anyone getting terminated. Because that energy you put out there could come right back to you. And I've experienced it more than once in my lifetime. And being terminated is not a good feeling. All right, so before anyone jumps in the comments and assumes I'm enjoying this, I'm not enjoying it. I'm just trying to present the cause and effect. I'm trying to present the cause and effect of what I think transpired. And what I believe transpired is the fact that he started to let his personal opinions and belief go over the airways too many times. And you might think you're in a comfort zone because you've been there at that station over a decade. But the takeaway from this episode is no matter where you work, if you are working for someone, just know that if you start to feel like you're bigger than the brand, this goes for sports, this goes for corporate, this goes for private. When you start to believe that what you bring to the table, and it's a very small table, well, let me not say it's a small table, it could be a very large table, but you just have a seat at that table, just one seat. No matter how big you think you are in your mind, for that sports team, for that corporation, for that private sector, whatever field it is, once you start to think that you're bigger than the brand, you'll have a rude awakening. I'm going to say that again. Once you start thinking you're bigger than the brand, you're going to have a rude awakening. Trust me when I say that. His mistake, in my humble opinion, is when you start to feel like you're bigger than the brand and you get comfy because, oh, I've been here 13 years, I'm good. He started, and this is what I noticed over the airway, and I barely listen to the radio. So if I noticed it, for some of you avid Hot 97 listeners, I'm sure you noticed this. His problem is because of his position, and this happens to a lot of people in different occupations, like I mentioned, right? In different occupations. So don't let this episode go over your head, respectfully. When you start to think because of your title and because of the years served, when you start to think that you are an asset and you're untouchable, and then you start spewing things that the people you work for don't necessarily agree with, or your ideologies don't line up with the people that are paying you and signing your checks, careful with playing that game, because it'll be when you least expect it and you start planning that vacation, or you start planning that, oh, I'm going to upgrade my car, it's time for a new car, or whatever, what have you. When you least expect it is when they call you in the office and you're blindsided, and it's like, then you end up like Ebro inside his car speaking about the incident vaguely. You know, listen, and I think I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. If you know you want the ultimate control of your destiny, you're going to have to work for yourself. You're going to have to work for yourself. Whatever talent you have, pour into that talent. I'm not saying quit your job. Never quit your job. Work that job, put money aside, or work that job, pour into what you need to pour into to get yourself in a position where you could start your own thing. Because that's the only way you're going to be able to stand on both feet and voice your opinion on social issues or whatever have you. Stand your ground or whatever, and be safe while doing so, is when you're running your own operation. But as long as you are working for somebody, it doesn't matter how high in that particular setting, it doesn't matter how high your title is in that particular setting. Again, corporation, private, if it's in athletics, you're a starter on your team, you're the go-to guy. The moment you start thinking you're bigger than the brand, you're going to get a slice of that humble pie. Trust me when I tell you, I've seen it all across the board. I saw it with Odell Beckham with the Giants, right? I believe he thought that the world revolved around him, and the Giants. He thought the Giants organization was wrapped around his finger, and they gave him a rude awakening. And I'm just using that as an example because, one, I'm a Giants fan. Two, that's the first thing that came to mind. But again, some of you watching this episode could think of situations or know of people that were in similar situations. Maybe it was yourself that was in a situation where you received that humble pie, unfortunately. All right. And that's what I want the takeaway to be. As long as you're working for someone, I'm not saying leave that job. Because if it's paying the bills, never leave the job. I'm not saying leave the job. But just keep in mind that no matter what time you put in, what length of time you put in, if it's over a decade, if it's over 2 decades, don't for 1 minute, let me not say don't forever, don't for 1 minute think that you can't be served a slice of humble pie. All right? So let that be the takeaway from this episode. Not the celebration of Ebro losing his job. And let me say this too. I wouldn't even be surprised if he pops up and does a podcast. But it would make sense because of his length in time in broadcasting. He's knowledgeable and he can pull it off. So I'm pretty sure that might be the fastest transition that he does, would be to do podcasting. And let me say this too. At the time of this recording, as far as I know, it was a cancellation of his morning show. So I don't know if that's similar to what happened with Funkmaster Flex, where at first when I reported that, I thought Funkmaster Flex was leaving Hot 97 altogether. No, was that? Yeah, I thought Funkmaster Flex was retiring, but it turns out it was just a different time slot. So I don't know if that's the situation going on with Ebro. It doesn't seem that way by the way his demeanor in the car. But if he still has a job at Hot 97, then still let the takeaway be, when you're working for someone, things can change. That comfy time slot that you're used to, that worked for you so you can get home and spend time with family, that can change too. They can say, you know what, you could have 14, 15 years in. They can say, hey, we're going to need you in the evening, during the evening hours. And you might say, what? But I've been here all these years. Yeah, well, you don't run the place. We do. And we tell you what you're going to do, no matter how big you think you are. And no matter how the company or corporation or what have you, no matter how much you help build them and bring in revenue, it doesn't matter. You're still a worker. You're still a worker. And unfortunately, you'll be reminded that you're a worker. And let me just say this lastly. We're not all built to run businesses. We're just not. We might think we are, but we're not all built for it. We don't all have the tenacity or the consistency or the drive to run our own businesses. But again, if you're in a position where you have a title and you've gotten comfortable, just be careful. Tread lightly. Don't say too much. Even if your colleagues are speaking on something, don't get into a debate about politics. Stay away from politics. Stay away from politics. Stay away from politics. Because you don't know. You don't know how invested, I should say. You don't know how invested people around you are into that. And that in itself could put you under the microscope for the wrong reasons. And you end up losing that position, that job that is paying all your bills. But listen, that's all I have on this episode. What's your thoughts on Ebro's termination? What's your thoughts on what was discussed in this episode? And I appreciate all of you. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend. I drop episodes daily at 5 p.m. Eastern. And as always, stay honorable.